The last few weeks have been a mess.
Yeah, it started with me having an autoimmune flare-up, and then part of our house flooded.
And then we both got sick back to back.
You gave it to me. I'm just kidding. It was probably our kids
first.
What?
Yeah.
You got sick first.
Oh yeah, you're right.
This means that progress on our projects has slowed down significantly over the past few weeks.
So instead of posting no videos for the next few weeks, we figured we'd go ahead and do a good old Q&A.
So we asked you all in a community post if you have any questions for us, and we were blown away with over 100 questions in that first 24 hours.
So in this video, we are doing our very best to answer your juiciest questions. Like, are you guys leaving YouTube for TV? Are you pregnant? Will we be moving? All right, are you ready? This is a very long list that we have here.
I'm kind of hungry.
We haven't even gotten started.
Yeah, I know.
All right, so question number one, what is left in our current house project-wise?
So we actually have this entire semester planned out with projects in our own house, starting with a really cool update to our teenage daughter's room that I'm so excited about because we're gonna be making it just a little bit more sophisticated for her as she is a teen now, and it's gonna be really cozy. And I was just so proud because I let her pick things and I was like, wow, you have really good taste. I feel like I rubbed off on you, and it'll be a good one. So that's what's next. After that, we'll be working on our downstairs guest bathroom, which we just had to tear the tile out of thanks to that water leak, but we did actually already have that on our project list, so I wasn't too sad about that. Again, I'm really excited about this one because I'm just gonna have a little bit more fun with it. It's a guest bathroom and I want it to be fitting to our house, but also have a little bit of, you know,
Flair,
yeah. So it's gonna be fun. I've got like a funky wallpaper. I'm going really dark and moody on the tile, but still classic. It's gonna be good. I'm excited to actually start. And then after that, I think we are going to be working in our bedroom. And if you've been with us a while, you know that we actually already did a bedroom makeover for us. But something that happens often with me, or not often, I feel like I've been working on this house for 5 years. And what's happened is I feel like now, 5 years in, I've really got a good grasp on what my style is and what the style and the feel of the house is. And there are some projects that I feel like I maybe missed the mark just a little bit. And I've been re-inspired with something that I feel like really fits the house and really just will add something to the room that's not just crazy over the top expensive. And really it just comes down to me being inspired and I want to do the project. So
something that speaks to your little heart and soul.
It does. I feel like that makes the best content. Is like, I always tell him, I mean, it's probably like that in a lot of creative areas, but the things that I really want to do or I really get excited and inspired by, like that's the stuff that I want to actually film.
All right, so next on that list too is give us an update on the leak, on the flood, on the damage. Well, number one is it has been covered by insurance, which is woo! That's a huge relief.
But the flip side of that is if you file a claim with insurance before, you know that it's a little bit slow. And so while everything has been dried out because we hired a remediation company, so we're not worried about mold or moisture, it's just kind of a mess. And we're just waiting for everything to be finalized so we can get paid, so then we can order flooring because our flooring has actually been discontinued, and so we have to replace the entire flooring in our entire house because it's all the same.
Oh, Lord.
It's gonna be a big job. We'll hire it out because there's no way we're doing that, but still.
So basically that means we have a lot of big, messy work ahead of us, but it's gonna be good in the end, right? It's gonna be amazing. It'll be great.
Yeah.
And maybe the last thing in this house, will there be another garage clean out?
I don't think my pride could handle that. I'll clean it off camera before I film that again. But it has made me laugh every time someone asks when the garage clean out for this year is gonna be. I was like, man, that's life.
All right, next question, big one. What will we do when this house is finished? Will we be moving? Will we do a rental house? Will we be doing another friend's house? Well, the short answer is we don't know yet.
We're definitely not in a rush to move, and I do feel like I want to just give some clarification that we would never move just for the sake of content. Like, our number one priority would be doing what's best for our family, because we have some people that have said that, you know, out of care for us, and I appreciate that, but I'm like, that's definitely like in our minds too. But I do kind of dream of like finding just one more house that would be like our forever home, and I have some ideas. Really, I mean, we're not actively even looking at houses.
Yeah. It's almost like if the perfect house came up on land and we're like, yes, we could see ourselves living here for a lifetime, then we would probably jump on that if we were able to.
I was gonna say if we could afford it.
But yeah, we're not like, let's move again. I don't know, we'll see. Like, we're thinking, we're praying, we're planning, but who knows, all right?
Can I just say, we do have one house that we love. We've never seen the inside of it. It's never even been on the market before, so you can't find pictures of the inside of it.
But we look at it because it kind of looks abandoned, like the yard is not kept. We never see cars there. We're like, does anyone even live here? We don't know.
But I don't know why. We drive by this house and we're like, if that one was for sale.
We should just go knock on the front door and be like, hey,
I don't know if anyone even lives there. It really does look abandoned.
Are you interested in selling your home, even though it's not listed and it never has been?
What would you do? Has anybody ever done that?
Can we do that?
I feel like that is the worst case, is to get your heart set on a house that's not even for sale, because they're probably going to be someone that's like, we never want to sell it. We're going to stay here till we die.
So will we do a rental?
A rental house?
House?
Will we, like, fix up a rental house?
A rental. I'm not talking about like a rental lawnmower, like a rental equipment store.
Okay.
What do you think I'm talking about over here?
This is definitely another thing that we have pondered, and we don't really know what direction we'll go. This is where I feel like when I talk about just feeling inspired with projects, I think that's how it's been so far. Each time we've moved, it has really just felt like the right thing to do. And it turned out to be, each time, a really good move for our family.
Yeah.
That's funny. That's like a pun.
Cue the pun alarm. So I think in a nutshell, we have dreamed of doing a rental property where we can do the whole house on camera, show it to you guys, and then be like, hey, it's open. You can actually come stay in this house. We just feel like that would be such a cool experience for us and for you guys. But I don't know. Time will tell.
We'll see.
And lastly, will we do another friend's house?
That's another possibility. And again, we don't know. That's the short answer. We do actually have some friends that we're talking to, but we don't know.
See.
It would be after the summer.
So I think the long and short of that is we are actually planning. We talk about this stuff. We think about it. We plan. We research. But it's hard to be like, yes, in 6 months from now, this is exactly what we're going to be doing. Especially when you're talking about construction, home renovation. It's a unique animal, right? All right, so next is another question that's always been super popular. Where in the world did you learn your building, your woodworking, and design skills?
I always feel like I have a less exciting answer than people are looking for, but I didn't go to school for any of it, for design or any kind of building type stuff. But really, I just started small, and I will say I have always loved design, because even as like a 10 or 12-year-old, I don't remember how old I first was when I was like, Mom, can I redo my room? I want to pull all this wallpaper down, or I want like a new comforter for my birthday so I can like change my room up. Like, I liked that kind of stuff as a kid. And I also liked building things, because I think my first big project was building a tree house, which we have some embarrassing pictures that'll be thrown in here somewhere, I'm sure.
As the story goes from her dad, she was 11 or 12 and basically built the entire tree house by herself. He just had to help her lift the boards up to the level that they were at. And
from there, I just kept building things and doing projects, and I started out simple and I slowly got more complex. At our first house, we built a massive deck. I think it ended up being over 500 square feet, but I did it in 2 phases, and I had to do a ton of research and find people who knew what they were doing, because I don't even think YouTube was a thing yet. Like, I couldn't go find a YouTube video. And so what I would do is I would find people who were knowledgeable, and I would just ask a million questions. Like, we had the sweetest older retired couple that lived next to us, and I would ask him all the questions. He would let me borrow his chop saw. Sweet old Butch. He'd say, you can borrow my chop saw. It's like, are you sure you can use this thing, little lady? So my projects grew in complexity as my skills grew, because I feel like each time I did feel confident that, oh, okay, I can do this. Even if I was like, you know, pushing myself a little bit, I was able to like figure it out and plan it ahead of time and go, okay, I can do this. I know what I'm doing. Like, my skills definitely grew, because my first piece of furniture was so bad that, well, one, I bought pre-made cabinets for the base of it, and then I had like little boards, and I had to screw the shelves onto the wall because it was too wobbly to stand up on its own.
It was what you call janky. And someone asked if you ever make mistakes. You never make mistakes, right?
No, I'm perfect.
Got it. Next
Just
section.
leave it there. No, of course I make mistakes. I feel like everybody does. It's kind of just part of the learning process. It's annoying. You definitely learn to measure twice, cut once, because mistakes can be expensive. But I haven't cut off any fingers yet or toes, so that's good.
And then I think kind of the logical next question is, how do you manage projects with 4 kids?
So I feel like I just have to say that our season of life now is very different because they're all in school. So we're able to work while they're at school.
Yeah, and that's the basic premise of how we do these projects is we do them while they're at school. That's like 95% of the time.
How we do them full time. Because in the past, it was a very like sporadic thing where I would finally be like, I have to build this deck. And I had like a baby and a toddler. But I would move his little jumper bouncer thing outside on like a beautiful spring day. And like our oldest, she would come and she would play outside in the dirt or like help me. Like they were having fun and they were around with me and I would just do what I could.
Yeah, and I think I can add to that. We kind of did like these short-term pushes that we didn't do all the time. So we might like push to like do paint or flooring or whatever it was. And then we would just take a break for a while. We weren't doing it all the time. And actually the year that we started this YouTube channel was the first year that our youngest went into school, into pre-K. And so that worked out really well and kind of gave us room to be able to do what we're doing now. All right, next, big question, hot question, fresh off the press.
What is it?
People want to know, are you guys leaving YouTube for TV?
No. Sorry, I killed the suspense there. Not even a question.
All right, so let's give you the update with our TV contract because we told you guys about it a while back and we feel like it's worth kind of restating where we're at with that, what's going on. So we were contacted over a year ago by a smaller TV network, Dabble TV, and we actually went into contract with them and we had a 4-year contract where we were gonna be releasing basically our YouTube projects on their network. They had their own edit, their own style for it, and then they posted it right to television. And then right as we were premiering the show, we had prepped all of this stuff, they started releasing the episodes, some changes, some unexpected changes happened. So the larger umbrella network that our smaller network was under actually got bought out. They made lots of changes and the little network we were working with got nixed. And in some ways you might go, oh no, that's terrible, that's bad. But I think we took a lot of positives away from this experience, really. Number one, I think it's nice to not be under a 4-year contract. Not that that was bad or anything, it just kind of feels nice to have that not up here or in the back of your mind. We're like, we're free. We're just so used to going video by video or series by series that 4 years felt like forever to us because when we signed the contract, we'd only been doing YouTube for like 2.5 years. But even more than not being under the contract, we gained a ton of experience that we can learn from, that we can use now moving forward. I mean, first of all, we learned a lot about the legal side of things and working with attorneys.
So we've never had to hire an attorney for anything before.
Not really, no.
And so we just thought, you know, we're gonna pay this massive retainer and that's like, there's no way they're gonna go through that.
Yes.
To us, it was a lot. It was $5,000. To us, that was a lot of money.
You just...
What? And then, not only did they go through our entire retainer, they didn't let us know that they went 4 times over our retainer until they sent us the first bill for $20,000. And we were like,
what?
I just felt so sick to my stomach.
We're like, we've never paid that much for anything in our entire lives. Like, we drive 2010 cars that are like paid off. They're like,
we've never even bought a car that costs $20,000. What makes it even better is we're only like halfway through this contract. And so we were like, please, can we just wrap this up quickly? Like, I think
let's just get
like
it done.
This is a small contract. This is not like we're gonna be getting paid a whole lot of money or something by this TV network. Oh man, but we were like locked in. So we're like, what do we do now? Start over? Or do we just be like, just finish as quick as you can? So,
And in addition to that, the attorney raised their rates by $150 an hour without notifying us again.
What did we end up? What was our grand total at?
I don't want to say it. It was about $35,000. I can't even say it. I literally can't even say it. Like, I mean, it just blew through so many of the things we had saved and built up. But we will say that had nothing to do with the network. The network was actually great. I'm gonna say capital A for the person we worked with. You were amazing. We appreciate you. Honestly, it was a great experience to learn, like, what is a TV network looking for? How do they produce their content? I was able even to speak into the production of our content and learn some things for us, for our own production, for our own editing, for our own file organization, which I can now share with other people who I'm mentoring. All right, next question. Dean, I heard you are teaching people how to thrive on YouTube. What are your top tips? So I thought about going, okay, here's my 5 top tips and da-da-da-da-da, but you know what? Just sign up for my free newsletter. I'll leave the link in the description. I literally work so hard on those. They're like my little love letter, teaching you, my little Padawans, how to thrive on YouTube. And so if you're interested in growing, just sign up for the newsletter instead of me just kind of wasting everybody's time talking about technical YouTube stuff. All right, next question. I think these are important. I think these are big. Tell us, what kind of tools did you learn in therapy about how to better your marriage, or just general marriage tips and tools in general? General in general.
First, I just think that maybe there's a little bit of a stigma with like therapy or counseling, but I think it can be so valuable to get just outside input. Because when it's just the two of you and you get stuck kind of in your own, whatever it is, like what you see, and you're going around and around the same issue.
Doing this over and over instead of this.
It's so helpful to have a third person just to be like, oh, they just can sometimes see more of what's going on, or maybe just even like personal issues that are contributing to the way that you relate to each other. And so I feel like we just got like even like little tools or little like things that help improve our communication.
Yeah, I mean, in a lot of ways, you just have to swallow your pride, and you have to realize everyone has marriage struggles. Literally every amazing couple I know.
I saw some video where people were saying they did not have any struggles ever and couldn't relate to that. And I was like, do you live together? Like,
if you interrupt me one more time, we're about to have some marriage
struggles. I'm just saying.
On camera, okay?
I'm gonna punch you.
I was like mid-thought. You jumped in, and since we're gonna go to counseling this afternoon,
no, we're not.
I'm bringing this
like,
up.
I'm signing us up for another.
She has a saying, it's called squirrel brain, and it jumps around and jumps on your head. I would say the next big thing we learned is you have to get kind of vulnerable and transparent about what your needs are. You can't just go, oh, I'm fine, it doesn't matter, it's all good. Like, you have to actually begin to recognize and then validate your own needs, each other's needs, and then be willing to work towards fulfilling those needs for each other.
Yeah, you're just learning to love somebody who's different than you.
Yeah.
Something that is so important is to have fun together. And I feel like in our seasons when we are doing the best is when we are really making time to have fun together. And sometimes, like for us, we get a lot of time together now because we work together, but we try and do things like take a lunch break or go get lunch during the day with just us during the week, or go play pickleball, or...
And essentially, it's like you have to learn to build into your marriage and not just mitigate damage all the time.
Yeah, because we've had seasons of that. Sorry, I don't know what to do. Sorry.
Did you seriously just interrupt me?
No, you paused.
Obviously, we are the poster children for an amazing marriage at all times.
And it can be as simple as like just having coffee together in the mornings, or like it doesn't have to be like going out on a date, because you may be like, we don't have the budget for it, or we don't have the time, or it could just be little things.
So that leads nicely into our next question. Tell me about your backstory, our backstory, and how did we start this crazy YouTube channel? Number one, how did we meet? We met in high school, baby. High school
swim team. I was gonna say swim team. Sweethearts, swim team.
I thought we were
swim team, sweethearts.
So we were both on the swim team. Her mom, my mother-in-law, was my swim coach at the time and my first boss. So we swam on the swim team together. We worked in the summers together at a swim school, and we just fell madly in love. And then we actually got married really young. I was 20, she was 21. We'd been dating 3.5 years at that time. I'd been working for their family. She knew my family, so it was the right time. We don't recommend that for everybody, but it was the right time for us. And then we just kind of journeyed on and had ourselves 4 kids by the time we were 30.
Oh my gosh.
And then we took a giant nap. That's what we did.
We've been together longer than we have not been together now. That's crazy. This Valentine's Day was our 20th Valentine's Day together.
Dude.
That's crazy. Because that was the first time 20 Valentines ago, that was the first time when Dean professed his love.
I professed my
junior
love.
in high school, Dean. He wrote me this letter that you probably, would you stay up all night writing this letter or something?
It's probably like the first time I prayed in my entire life. Like, Lord, help
so
me know what to
nervous.
say.
So he bears his soul in this letter, and he gives it to me, and I go, why did you give me a note with dead stick figures drawn all over it?
And I said, those aren't stick figures, those are roses.
I don't know like how my brain saw that, but that's literally what came out of my mouth. I'm like,
I was like, well, that's the end. See you later. Nice knowing ya. She gets the note and was like, why are there all these dead stick figures on it? And I was like, those are roses.
Did you even say that?
Yes.
It was just like, see you later. And then I was reading it in the next class and I was like, oh.
And her heart was melting.
I was like, oh, okay. I'll think about it.
And then there was a day like soon after that where I was in English class and I was actually laying my head on the desk and looking like out the door, and Andrea was doing something in the hallway and she walked by and kind of paused and looked at me and smiled, and I was like, what the heck was that? Or wait,
I feel like I remember that.
What a moment, babe. Then next, how did we start this YouTube channel? Well, you got to back up a ways before the start of this YouTube channel. I actually had my own YouTube channel doing music production tutorials for about 4 years. And then I started getting this crazy idea of going, hey, what if we started filming your DIY projects and made a whole new channel out of it? And she was like, why would anybody want to watch that? And so we decided to take like 2 days a week to film. And I remember her going, like, are you sure that you want to take these hours and put them towards filming me? Like, who's gonna want to watch this? Like,
it's like, why would anybody watch me painting furniture? Because that was like the kick that I was on when we started filming.
And so I said, hey, let's just try it for 3 months and see what happens. And basically within 3 months, we were YouTube's creator on the rise. And so we kept going. It was really good. All right, next are a few quick questions about Andrea and her health. Number 1, this autoimmune disease. What is it? How long you had it? How are you doing with it?
It's been a while. I think I got officially diagnosed maybe 8 years ago. So I have ulcerative colitis, which is really similar to Crohn's. I mean, they're almost the same thing. It just has to do with which part of your intestines they affect. But if anybody wants to know. And I actually managed it all through diet and nutrition for the first 7 or 8 years.
Yeah.
Until last year, I just had like a crazy flare up that nothing was working and nothing could explain it. We found out later it was actually like an infection that had caused it, which made me feel so much better because I was like, it is really disorienting to have everything that normally works and like cutting out these certain foods to like do nothing and to still be super sick. And so that was crazy, but I was really glad we got answers and that it was an easy fix. And so it is going pretty well. In that process, we started a medication for the first time, which I would say was like nice for the first 6 months because I got like a mental break.
Yeah,
and I could just eat like more things. But I think really what ended up happening is it kind of put a band-aid on like my main symptom that I was so familiar with. And it doesn't really address like your immune system response or like inflammation in general in your body. And so I think the past several months, I have just been like, I don't think this is a good long-term solution. And so I'm in the process of weaning off the medication. I would say things are going pretty well. I've had a couple of times where I got another infection and got really sick and we treated it and then I was fine. I think now I'm just in a spot where I'm like, I can just eat a more limited diet and I'll be fine. Like,
yeah, I'm talking
I just want to feel good. Like,
she eats like sweet potatoes, no wheat, no dairy, like
just
lots of very healthy vegetables and foods and meats that work with her body, or really with anyone's body, but especially for hers.
I feel like this leads nicely into our next question.
Hot topic. Very
every
popular
single video.
Someone is asking this question. Are you pregnant?
Every single video. I'm like, what is wrong with people? No, I'm not.
Let us just give you a little etiquette lesson for someone out there. You don't ask a woman if she's pregnant unless you are 4,000% pregnant, or maybe even better, unless they tell you that they are pregnant.
Who asks? Who asks somebody if they're pregnant? Like, if you're not obviously like 7 months pregnant. But I do think, I mean, in their defense, I do think the medication actually made me gain a little bit of weight.
And it's all good. We take it with a grain of salt. We laugh. But in general, we're like, gosh, I would never comment that
I am
someone's
curious.
pregnant.
I'm like, is that like, you know, like a Southern thing? Is that like normal in other places where it's
I don't
like,
know. Is that a cultural
I
thing
can't imagine
that we're
it.
like,
I can't imagine, at least in the States, that being like a socially nice thing to do is to ask someone if they're pregnant when they're not. But I don't know. Comment below if where you are, if you wouldn't mind having people ask if you're pregnant when you're not pregnant.
Someone also asked, all right, you got 4 kids. Do you want any more? And I think our answer to that is, we've got 4. I'm one of 4 kids. She's one of 4 kids. This feels like our quiver is full. Like, this is great. It's a lot and it's amazing, but it's a lot and it's amazing. So we're kind of holding off, at least in our minds, we're holding off for grandbabies, you know? I mean, it's gonna be a while.
Yeah. If our oldest had kids when I did, that's like 10 years, right?
Yeah, 10 years.
I mean, no pressure, you know, but.
Bring on the grandbabies, those chunky, fat, little juicy. Here's a funny one. Is Dean an actor? I thought I saw him on a recent Claritin commercial recently. The answer is no, I'm not an actor. I think it'd be fun. Would love to try. If anyone wants to give me the opportunity on a commercial or some small role or something, it'd be great.
Wait, you've been on a commercial before.
But here's the crazy part. I have been on a commercial way back in the day, in my early 20s. I was driving school buses for the local school district, and my boss called me into the office, handed me a brand new, like, nice collared school district shirt and said, hey, take this bus over to this school. You're gonna meet a camera crew there from the local news station, and you're gonna be in a commercial for them about school bus safety. And so I
wish we could somehow find a clip of that.
Gosh, I know. So I'll never forget my line. I opened the door, I looked over at the camera and said, always stop for school buses. And I probably said that like 10 times. And there was some other line, but I can't remember what it was.
Maybe somebody can find it for us.
Gosh, if someone could find that.
Oh my gosh.
KVTX, Bryan College Station, if you could find this school bus safety commercial from what would have been like 2008, I believe. Golly, I'd pay money to see that. So that's it as far as the questions, but we just want to wrap things up by saying a massive thank you to all of you. A lot of you didn't even ask us questions. You literally just checked on us and on our well-being. We're like, hope you get well soon. Take your time, rest up. We're praying for you. Like, it was super sweet. It was heartwarming to see the way you guys responded to us. And so, I don't know, it just felt very comforting and encouraging to see the response from you all from this questionnaire and in all of our videos. It's like, you guys are the best. So with that, we're gonna wrap up this video. We hope you enjoyed it. Maybe you learned something, maybe you didn't, but at least you had a laugh or two. That's our hope. And we will catch you in a couple of weeks. But we are working hard. We're literally gonna get up from here and go keep doing progress on the next project. So we've already started on the next project. We just don't have all the videos ready to start releasing them. So thank you very much. We'll see you very soon. Bye.
I can't sneeze. Somebody asked if allergies are like really crazy right now, and I was like, yes. I don't even think I have allergies, or I didn't think I did, but I've been sneezing like crazy.
It's true.
And it's so windy outside, and my eyes feel like itchy, and I'm sneezing like crazy.
We're really not off to a good start.
That was a question. It just wasn't the question you just asked. I think the kid's got the ADHD gene for me. I'm just gonna say it.
Okay.
I'm a little squirrely. So yeah, my projects grew in complexity as I feel like my skills grew, because
Seals grew?
Skills, my skills.
You said seals.
Can we tell them we're doing a triathlon this weekend? We're doing a triathlon this weekend. By the time we post this, it's gonna be, this weekend. Send us happy thoughts on Sunday morning, because we're gonna be jumping in a freezing cold lake. We did it yesterday. We went and swam in the lake with our wetsuits.
It was next level cold and next level, like, what the heck are we thinking?
I just had to like not think about it, because the water is so brown, and I'm looking, in the brown water, like I can't even see my hands. Literally. What is in this lake? I don't even know. Do we have alligators here?
We literally would like pop our heads up every like 100 yards and just laugh out loud, because it was so cold. The water's so murky. We're like, what are we doing out here in the middle of this lake?
We paid money to do this.
Oh,
nobody's making me do this.
This triathlon is going to be amazing. It's going to be great.